Welcome back. We are going to contrast implicit and explicit data today. Implicit is indirect, but explicit is direct. What I'd like you to do first is let's highlight just a few of the parts of this cartoon that we're going to draw. So I'd like you to try to get as many details as you can in your drawing in a short amount of time, not a long amount of time. But I'd like to highlight some big um, details. First, the tattoo that says sugar, right? The fact that it's referencing the movie King Kong. You see that this is Mayor Bloomberg here. I'd like you to highlight his name. Pop, cop, as in soda pop, policing soda, saying, put the soda down, put down the soda and step away from the building, right? So we know that we don't like soda, right? And we can see this King Kong Cola. So take a moment, please, and I'd like you to sketch this after you've had a chance to highlight some of the important details in this cartoon. Please take the time to do so now. Excellent work. So, as I've been saying, contrast implicit and explicit data, right? Explicit data tends to be something you can memorize and see right away. Implicit data means that it's going to require some time. You have to get below the surface of the information and make more connections. So let's start with our explicit. Now, those of you without computers can certainly write this, but those of you with computers will write it like this. Explicit things that you see. You see a plane. You see that it says Bloomberg. You see that there's a giant New Yorker. You can see that he's smoking, that he has a sugar tattoo. Right? Take a moment, please. And what are some of the explicit details that you can write on your own or that Mr. Surface missed? Please go ahead and grab those now. All right. Next things next is we got to make some connections because we're going to be coming up with implicit information. All right. Implicit information means that we're taking our other information that we know, information we might know about this class that we're in, English class, information that, it's not going to let me move that, is it? Oh, I see. Oops. Where we can add up the amount of grams of sugar, where we know the brain chemistry that impacts our brains from sugar. We know the history of prohibition, right? We know that at one time they tried to get rid of booze. Boy, did that not work out good, right? Then we are going to think about a time where characters were overly selfish, or they were overly paternalistic. And then geography. Where is this? Oh boy, well, we know what city this is if we've had a chance to think on it for a moment, right? So draw those little connections with those lines if you haven't, right? Those are English, math, physics, chemistry, history, literature, and geography. Those are just some of the things that play a role in implicit information. Please copy it down now. All right. Now we need to take a moment and talk about some of the implicit information. All right, let's take a moment and look at this guy's face. The information there seems to be suggesting that he's slovenly and dumb. Right? That's why he has that kind of slack-jawed look. Right? We highlight King Kong Cola. Well, that's giving us, we're meant to make the connection between the film King Kong. So it's referencing the giant ape from King Kong, right? You see that Bloomberg here. You look at his expression, right? There's Bloomberg here. We'll highlight his face. Look at this expression here, right? It's both more like severe and it seems less expressive. He seems sort of like a school marm, sort of like a nerd almost, right? What's some implicit information, something you're noticing about this that doesn't that's like extra below the surface information? Take a moment, please, to write down one or two items of implicit information in this cartoon. Excellent. Now, let's try it with something that's a little more complicated than a single political cartoon, even though there's plenty there to chat on, right? And we're going to use an op-ed about the soda ban from the New York Times. All right, New York Times already giving you some implicit data too. All right, so please take the time to watch the trailer once, and then you will only write down explicit information. Excellent. Now we're going to watch it one more time. And this time, as we watch it, we're going to pick out as much implicit information as possible. Please watch it again. Excellent. Finally, it's not Code Talker that we're rocking with. We are rocking and rolling with Three Cheers for the Nanny State. If you have not had a chance to reread Three Cheers for the Nanny State, please do so now. Excellent. So, explicit are just some of the important words that are said on here, right? This is in prohibition. This is about soda explicitly, why it's so controversial, right? So they ask that question. They come out and say that the ban suggests that sometimes we need to be stopped from doing foolish stuff. And that has become in contemporary American politics highly controversial, no matter how trivial the particular issue. Large cups of soda as symbols of human dignity? Really? Right? And they ask that question, back to back questions. So take a moment from some of those highlighted portions of paragraph 1 and 2. I'd like you to write down word for word, quote for quote, on the explicit side, some of the important information. In fact, if you could, with a pretty please, let's put 1, 2, and 3 pieces of explicit information. That means copy now what you see from this paragraph. Please do so now. Excellent work. We're going to switch over to orange, and we're going to highlight some of the words that seem to give us implicit data. So, for instance, we can draw a line from history to prohibition and highlight prohibition. It isn't just that we make slightly more effort, so why is this such a big deal? Obviously, it's not about soda. They use this word obviously, I wonder. I wonder why someone would use that word. It's because such a ban suggests that sometimes we need to stop from doing foolish stuff. Why stuff instead of things? And this has become, in contemporary American politics, highly controversial. No matter how trivial the particular issue. What do we learn from trivial? What do we learn about what implicit data comes with trivial or controversial? Large cups of soda, symbols of human dignity? Really? There's implicit information with all of that orange stuff that was highlighted, stuff that can make us also think of English and history again, right? Some of the things that you can use to help communicate implicit data. Please take the time to write down 1, 2, 3 pieces of implicit data from this excerpt. Excellent work.